Yeah.
Hey, on to another episode of Spear from the Past. I'm returning outside Sunday 2006, and I've got Jacob Barbie here. Jacob, how's it going?
Going good. Happy to be here. Not sure if I'm happy to talk about this show though.
But yeah. So um, first off, we'll be talking about this the year that this happened. This was happened back in 2006. The number one movie of the year when this pay-per-view happened was Borat. The number one song in the in US at least was "Moneymaker" from Ludacris featuring Pharrell, and the number one album was "Press Play" by P Diddy. This yeah.
Ooh.
Um, but with that being said, we're going to move on from that very quickly. But yeah, funny enough, I'm pretty sure I had you on for the last Cyber Sunday as well. So it's like,
It might have been Taboo Tuesday, but it's the same. I think it was Taboo Tuesday, but it's the same concept.
yeah. But throughout this one, we had Todd Grisham and Maria hosting the poll results. Maria was really annoyed with her comments throughout this night. But as we move into the first match we had, we did Umaga defeating Kane. And the other options that people could have voted for, there's a voting for an opponent for Umaga, and the other option was the Sandman and Chris Benoit. So the first one I'm going to say, Jacob, who would you have voted for to face Umaga? Would you have voted Kane?
Either Kane or Benoit. Sandman seems like an odd choice. Maybe in 2006 it didn't seem like an odd choice, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I probably I probably would have gone Kane myself, just because, especially with the way that this match was set up, because like Umar was going to this event being undefeated, so him getting the win here wasn't too much of a surprise, because because they were definitely trying to push him to be this kind of main event caliber person, and so you don't want him to be losing. But I kind of enjoy this match. Like, it's kind of the classic like two big guys fighting type match. And yeah, but Jacob, what did you think about Umaga versus Kane?
I thought it was good. I think the time hurt it. I think they should have been given more time. I think we're spoiled nowadays though, because we're used to one match lasting the the first 30 minutes of a show nowadays. Whereas on this one, we were through two of them by the time we hit that 30-minute mark. But I thought this was good. I think you had two of the more capable heavyweights, super heavyweights in Umaga and Kane, both really good in-ring workers. Um, I just wish they were given a little bit more time. If it just felt short, but yeah, really good. I think again, two of the more capable big men. So yeah, it was solid.
But next up we had a segment which which is going to be sort of a running thing throughout this of Booker T wanting to try and help people get him on the side just so he can help keep his title. But this first one was like Queen Shemel was talking to Big Show about trying to get him to help King Booker, which Big Show was just not having anything of this. But there really wasn't too much. It was just like King Booker trying to figure out ways to keep his title. But Dave, any thoughts on this sort of segment?
Yeah, I mean this one was okay. It's one where the backstage segments actually played a part in the show, whereas sometimes they're just filler. Um, but this might be one of the shows where I think some of the backstage segments were the best part of the show. But we'll get to a couple of them later. But yeah, this one it was fine. It served its purpose.
Yeah. But then the next up we had a Crime Time versus the Highlanders versus Haas and Viscera versus Lance Cate and Trevor Murdoch in a Texas Tornado match. The other options people could have voted for was a tag team turmoil and a fatal four-way. I honestly think they made the right choice, but Jay, what do you would you have voted for a Texas Tornado match?
Probably it's the most. I think it's the most interesting uh, choice because then you just get everyone involved and you can have some wild sequences if you
Yeah,
have the right people involved.
yeah, no, like this one match was like I did some little bit of research here. This match was actually really early on to when Prime Time first came on the scene. And yeah, the match itself it wasn't good. I kind of was bored in it. And, like Haas and Vasquez is like the most random pairing that I've. And of course, Vasquez was later is going to be known as like as Big Daddy V at some stage. I can't remember if it was before or after this,
It
but
was after this. He ended his career
yeah,
at Eddie V.
like just like they wanted to find a fourth team to throw into this match. It's like they just picked two random people and just threw them together. It's like the bit weirdest thing. But and then after the match, you had the thing with where Crime Time stole Jerry Lawler's laptop, where he would keep on complaining about it throughout the show. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about this match?
Yeah, it just it wasn't it. It wasn't good. I think maybe if it was just like a straight up tag team match, and you get three stipulations for Crime Time and then Cade and Murdoch, because I think both of those teams are really good. No, I was just never a big fan of the Highlanders. And then yeah, Charlie Haas is a really good wrestler.
Yeah,
Viscera is a little limited in the ring.
yeah,
And then the fact that you got a Texas tornado, everyone's involved, and then your match goes less than 5 minutes. Like, come on, booking back then was weird.
yeah. Um, But then the next up, we had a very infamous backstage segment of Sean trying to decide who to vote for to get for the special ref, and Triple H comes out to help Sean decide, and Sean was like, pick Eric Bischoff. We haven't done anything to him yet. Um, but then like Sean goes on a rant about controversy, is like, and then we get the infamous "I just kicked Stan" moment, which was actually really early tied into or Sean Spears appearances, as it's known now. Um, but look, I've seen this backstage segment a few times. I had no idea this was where it initially was. Um, because once again, I thought it was just a random like segment they would have on a SmackDown or War and that,
Mhm.
but so I've seen the segment multiple times, but it's so much fun seeing actually seeing the context in which it was used, and I think this was real, especially for Made X was at this time. I think it was really fun. But what are your thoughts about the backstage segment?
This might be the best part of the show. This was a lot of fun. The fact that this is getting played over and over again, and like I dare you to ask anyone what their favorite part of Cyber Sunday 2006 was, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I don't remember any of those matches." Unless you're Chris Cass, he remembers everything. Shout out Chris Cass. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. DX, highly entertaining, especially as a face team.
Um, but yeah, the next up we had Jeff Hardy versus Carlito for the IC title. And the other options that they could have voted for is Shelton Benjamin and Johnny Nitro. Random fact is like, out of these three options, Carlito is the only face of the three options. And is this and with Jeff Hardy also being face, it led to a really kind of boring match in a way because it's there's a this match seemed to be a lot of rest holds and anything. Like I'm pretty sure once again I'm pretty sure this is early on from when Carlito first came on the scene as well. But the match just seemed like is really so a lot of rest holds and like it just wasn't as exciting as would normally expect for a Jeff Hardy match. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about Jeff Hardy versus Carlito?
I really enjoyed it. I thought maybe it's because I kind of didn't like. Well, I mean, I liked Umaga and Kane, but that tag team match is such a sour taste. It's like All right, we got two really good in-ring workers. They gave them time, just over 13 minutes. It wrestled, but like I think once they started gearing up towards the finish, I think the action started ramping up, and I think they were moving at a quick pace. And the near falls got me because I don't, like I said, I don't remember this show. So the results, it was kind of like I was watching it for the first time over again. And yeah, no, it was yeah. I forgot that Carlito had turned face later on 2006 because he wasn't a heel tag team with Chris Masters at the
Yeah,
beginning of the year, and then yeah, that turn happened. Um, so yeah, interesting. I don't know if I would have voted for Carlito personally. I think Shelton Benjamin might have been a fun opponent, and then yeah, then you have that heel
yeah,
face dynamic. But because I was looking at the results of the voting, and I'm like, are they just making these numbers up? Do they already have a show plan, or is it really like, are the fans voting? Because like, you know, 62% like for Carly, like, okay, well, if he is the face, like that does make sense. Um,
yeah.
so like some of the results are like, I don't understand these numbers, but no, it was a really good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, moving on to, I'm almost certain that the numbers were very screwy. It was we had Rated RKO versus DX with Eric Bischoff as a special guest referee. The other options we had was Jonathan Coachman and Vince McMahon. Personally, with me knowing the like relationship Vince has had with DX in the past, I would have put in Vince McMahon because I thought it was fun. I feel like they wanted to put Eric Bischoff in because think around this time he had released his controversy makes cash book, so they want so I feel
Mhm.
like they fudged the numbers a bit because they wanted them to promote his book. So but Jake, what are your thoughts about rated RKO versus the X?
I really enjoyed this match too. I thought, we kind of started here, we went down a little bit, oh, but we're moving back up, and then this might be the highlight of the show, as far as matches go. Because yeah, this was really good. You got four really good in ring workers. I think this is like prime Edge. Randy Orton's still a little young, and then you got the veterans in DX, and it all makes for a fun dynamic. And Eric Bischoff, like for the first good portion of this match, he was just a referee. There was no screwiness going on. He was calling things down the middle, and I was like, all right, I'm enjoying this. But of course, you have the heel general manager, you got the heel team, shenanigans happen, and that's to be expected. So like that usually like screwy finishes. I'm like, why did that need to happen? But when it makes sense and it works, it's good. And in this case, it was good. Rated RKO, I believe they were a new team, newish team still at this point. So of course, give them the win over the veterans. I can't remember what happened with them after this. I know they weren't. I think maybe was this before or after Survivor Series? This
Um,
was before. So yeah, Survivor Series was next, and of course you would have that 5-on-5 where Team DX would sweep them. Yeah, give them that makes sense. Yeah, and so yeah, I think it all worked. And this the highlight of a otherwise I don't want to give away my score or what at the end, but overall mediocre show.
yeah. And then afterwards, we had a backstage segment with Edge and Randy Orton celebrating in the parking lot, and they talked to Lita for a bit, and nothing much really happened in this one. Um, but then next up, now this is where I think they screwed up a little bit because they brought all the divas out before the next match, which, in my opinion, I think it spoiled the fact that the match was a lumberjaw match because the next match we had was Lita versus Mickey James for the WWE Women's Championship, which I believe was vacant at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was in a lumberjaw match. The other two options we had was a no DQ and a submission match, but yeah, it was one of those ones where they announced the poll results sort of after they brought all the divas out. So I feel like they should have done it reverse that a little bit and um, either announce the poll results or something first. But ultimately, I thought Lita versus Mick James was a pretty good match. I've always liked Lita and Mickey James as a pairing. I think they've always worked well together, and I thought this match was pretty solid for the most part. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about this match?
Yeah, I agree. Like, why bring them out? Because like, then what happens if that's not the winner of the poll? You got to send them all back anyway. So, just wait. But yeah, no, Lita, Mickey James. The bracket, the bracket was a little weird. Yeah, Lita and Maria. Yeah, you had a a bra and panties match between Maria, Candace, Tori Wilson, and Victoria. It was out, which that's weird. Yeah, just some odd. We already had a Lumberjill match in the tournament, so it's like, why are we doing that again? Whatever. But Lita, Mickey James, two of the better women in ring workers at that time. So yeah, good match. Edge, kind of a terrible boyfriend because he left before Lita's match. That was kind of weird. Also, they didn't like shower or anything. They were just like, all right, we're leaving now. Like, at least clean yourself up. You're just in a 20-minute match. And then why don't you support your girlfriend that you made Matt Hardy leave? Whatever. But no, these two, yeah, really good. And yeah, I'm just unsure how I feel about lumberjack matches because it's like I don't like the outside interference a lot. I'm just not one of those. Like, just put them back in the ring, do your job. I don't like lumberjack matches, but everything that happened outside of that, really good.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. Put on like lumberjack matches, like the outside interference can take away a lot from it. But I mean, if it's one of those ones, like if it makes sense, like I remember when they had a lumberjack match. I think it was Wade Barrett versus Cena with the Nexus at ringside or something. It's like that made a lot of sense with that when they did that lumberjack match, because like you're going to expect interference because it's Nexus as it was. So it's like,
Right.
yeah.
I think Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose had a really good one too. I liked that one. I think it was SummerSlam. I can't remember what year though, but they had a really good one too.
Yeah, there's just one of those ones where you get these underdog matches where no one's, especially if no one's really in a feud with someone else. Like you got to get if you go to get them attacked, it's like why? There's no point. They're not like it's not like they've slided them at all. But next moving on, we have a Spirit Squad segment having an argument backstage as like Kenny brags about beating Ric Flair all by himself and arguing about leadership and that. Like once again, this one like didn't really do much. It's just I don't know if this was around the time when the Spirit Squad is about to start like falling apart. But yeah, the really was that match much there. But it leads into the next match, which was Ric Flair and well, yeah, I'll switch this one a little bit up because Ric Flair was going to be fighting the Spirit Squad for the World Tag Team Championships. The vote was to decide who his partner was going to be, and so we had Waddy Piper, Sergeant Slaughter, and Dusty Rhodes. Waddy Piper ultimately won the poll. But apparently WWE is one of those weird things where apparently WWE wanted Dusty to win the poll, but it didn't happen. So, but once again, whether or not I believe it for sure, I don't know. But Jacob, would you have voted for Roddy Piper to be Ric Flair's partner, or would you have gone somewhere else?
I might have gone Dusty. I think it just would have been fun, like given their history with each other and seeing them team up. Like I think that would have been fun.
But yeah, and then so when Ric Flair and Roddy Piper came down, Ric Flair did a thing where he invited Dusty and Slaughter to be ringside for his match, especially to help with the numbers advantage that Spirit Squad was obviously bringing to the as well. But the match itself was fine. Like I wasn't expecting much from like Ric Flair, especially I would he have been about like 70, 80 at this time, or
Hmm?
Ric Flair would have been about like 70, 80 at this time as well. Was he like younger?
In 2006,
Yeah.
he was only in his mid 50s.
Oh,
He's only 76.
Okay. I could have sworn he looks as much older than that,
Oh yeah,
but
no, he's always looked old.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, then Rick, the match itself like was fine, but it was fun to see Ric Flair and Roddy Piper be the champions. Ultimately, I don't know who takes it from them. We'll probably get that later on, but yeah, Jake, what are your thoughts about Ric Flair and Roddy Piper versus the Spirit Squad?
Yeah, it was fine. It was a fun moment, you know, seeing Roddy win another title. I think it would have been more fun to see Dusty. I mean, it's his music that we hear at the end of the match anyway, after the post match shenanigans. Um, yeah, and they would only be champions for 2 weeks. They dropped them to rated RKO. So that's yeah, they did end up becoming the champions. But yeah, it was a 2 week reign. If I think the sole purpose of this was just to get the titles off of the Spirit Squad, because the Spirit Squad, they were gone the night after Survivor Series. That's when they left. And then
Yeah,
Kenny. It's weird because the Wikipedia page says that Kenny was the only member of the team to stick around, but then like Dolph Ziggler, who was Nikki, definitely has the most successful career. So I think that was the best decision for his career. But yeah, the match it was all right. I think the moment of seeing Roddy hold the title is more memorable for me than the match itself. And then yeah, just respect to the legends. Always respect them. Like they're not gonna move as good as they were you know back in their prime. Even though Ric Flair at this time still had some really decent matches, but yeah, you're not expecting a 4 or 5 star classic from Roddy Piper at this point.
yeah. Um, but then next up, we had a backstage segment of King Booker talking to John Cena um, and John John Cena being the way he is like, okay, I'll help you if you agree to me having a night with your wife where Queen Shamel wasn't happy about the Booker then said okay, then Cena says, I don't want your wife. I wanted to see if you're stupid enough to agree to it. And then Cena walks out and like says Booker, right, so giving all these go so right, you agree to all these demands, and then like starts Booker and Sharmell arguing a lot with Ron Simmons coming out for damn to end it off. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about this backstage segment?
I thought this one was a lot of fun. I think King Booker is my favorite like gimmick when it comes to King of the Ring winners. Like I think he really embraced it, and I think it really did. You know, it was a good thing for his career. Obviously, you know, he was world champ at this point. And then yeah, Cena, you know, a little early on in his career still. You know, he's less than I think 5 years into WWE at this point. I think yeah, he would debut in 2002. So, but yeah, he's always been you know on the humorous side. So yeah, seeing those two interact, like it was great. Charmel over little over the top, but you know rightfully so. I think everything about this just worked.
Yeah. But moving on, we finish off with the match, which was King Booker versus Big Show versus John Cena. The options you could vote for, which I didn't really like because it was kind of obvious that whichever title was going to be voted or defended on, then that person was winning. It was like, I don't see the point in like voting for which title to put on the line. but we had the World Heavyweight Championship, the ECW Championship, WWE Championship, and the World Heavyweight Championship was voted on to be defended. But I don't like if you're going to do like a chat, like I don't mind these champion versus champion matches, but make it for make a champion of champion title or something, which I think would be fun. Because if you're going to do something like this and vote for which title gets defended, then that's kind of putting it out there that title is going to be the one that champion's going to be the one that wins the match. But it is what it is. The match itself, I thought it was pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know what the heck Kevin Fenelon was doing there. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about this match?
I liked 98% of this match. And yeah, I agree. If you have a champions of champions match, don't put one of the titles on the line. We can vote on a stipulation or something. Maybe it's a tables match or a steel cage match or something, or a ladder match, and there's like something above the ring. But like you said, like something to symbolize that the winner is the champion of champions. Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of, oh, okay, well, they're not really gonna, put two titles on one guy to have him jump between shows. I'm not the biggest fan of Big Show at this time. I think, he did his part though. The dynamic between Booker and John Cena always worked. Even when they were feuding over the United States title early on in Cena's career, really good stuff then too. Like they just work really well together, I think. But yeah, no, the end of this show, which by the way, the main event started 2 hours into the show. It's a really short show. It's only 2.5 hours, which I don't know if I like now that we've gotten all these 4 hours. Like maybe 2.5 is nice. But yeah, I forgot Kevin Federline was involved in WWE at this time, and yeah, when your pay-per-view should not end with, I'm sorry, like his biggest claim to fame is that he was with Britney Spears. Nobody remembers his music career. I'm sorry. And yeah, if that's the biggest name you could get, like, but yeah, just the ending just leaves a sour taste. But everything leading up to that was really solid.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones. I knew that Kevin Federline had made an appearance on a SmackDown there. I did not realize he had more than one appearance. But I was like,
he owns a victory over John Cena.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it was funny. It was like the communists were trying really hard to make us care about Kevin Federline. So I think JR said, "Oh, it's Mr. Britney Spears." That's going to help people care about Kevin Federline. Yeah, really, it was really kind of an anticlimactic end to a match which actually was pretty good. But Jacob, if you could go back in time and change one booking decision in the match this pay-per-view, what would you change?
Just one. I think. Oh man. That's hard because there's actually a few, but I think the biggest one for me is I don't think I'd book the 4-way tag team match. I think I would make it a straight up tag team match between Crime Time and then Cade and Murdoch, who I think are really two really solid teams at this point, and then put stipulations in place for that one instead of the poll options that we got. Yeah. I mean, you could keep the tornado one in there, but then like maybe Falls Count Anywhere or something like a street fight or something for the other two options.
Yeah, for me, I'll just simply tell Kevin Federline to stay home. Like he's not needed. No one cares.
Yeah, that was up there too.
But with that, and Jacob, what would your overall score of the pay-per-view be?
Yeah, out of 5, right?
Yeah.
There's some really low lows, and the highs aren't like, oh my gosh, I forgot that match of the year contender was on this show. There's really none of that. There's some really solid matches. I think the biggest thing for me though is more of the backstage segments were more memorable than the matches themselves. So yeah, I think I'm at like a 2 out of 5. I maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on there, but I also gave it 2.5. Myself, like it was good. I enjoyed watching it. But yeah, ultimately it was it just didn't have that excitement that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
And that
If I paid $50 for this, I would have been disappointed.
yeah. No, but time to spin the reel for next pay-per-view. I'm going to do something a little bit different just because I'm using my phone for something else and I'm watching a live stream on it at the same time, which is if you could hear any music, that's what it is.
Okay.
But so for the first time, you're actually going to be able to see the reel.
Whoa.
Give it a couple shuffles because it was in alphabetical order.
What are we gonna get?
In your house, number 2.
I'm going to spin again just because I don't think that one is on Netflix.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Survivor Series.
That one I'm almost certain is on Netflix. So Survivor Series 99 is where we're going next.
Okay. That's
that. And this might actually be the first Survivor Series pay-per-view that I've actually hit doing this, which I'm glad because I actually really do like the Survivor Series gimmick. I wish I'd go back to the 5-on-5 as opposed to the War Games.
yeah. This one featured 4-on-4 Survivor Series matches.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, so I've got Modern Thrasher with Godfather D'Lo Brown versus the Acolytes and the Dudleys. Got Kurt Angle and Sean Stacey. Got Gangle, Mark Rennie, Steve Blackman, and Val Venis versus the British Bulldog and the Main Street Posse. Deborah, Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, and Tori defeating facing on Ivory, Jacqueline Luna, and Terry Runnels.
Which is just a straight up tag team match. Why not make that a Survivor Series? You're already doing 4-on-4. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I didn't notice that until you said something. Then we got Kane versus X-Pac. Then we got Big Show versus a whole bunch of people. And a 1-on-4 Survivor Series match. China versus Jericho. That's that one. Then we got Big Show versus Triple H and The Rock. New Age Outlaws versus Elston and Mankind. And then the Hollies and Too Cool versus Edge and Christian and the Hardys. So it got a bunch of great matches there. It should be a lot of fun. That'll be the next pay-per-view that we'll be talking about on Speed from the Past. But until next time, Jacob, where can people find you online?
Yeah, if you watched live in about just over an hour over on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast channel, we will be going live, talking some news, giving a fantasy update. We have a fantasy season going on, and then we'll be talking Forbidden Door, which is this weekend from AEW.
Yeah, and you can find me on Take 3 Productions as a host. Rankum each week. This week we're talking about the Coen Brothers. Should be a lot of fun. And you can find me on Spiffin Pass as I talk about Survivor Series 99. And I pop up here and there from time to time. I'll be on Movie and Network on Fridays through I'll just play this to go out on.